There is a 400-year-old Japanese technique that makes anyone overcome laziness without effort, without motivation, and almost no one knows about it. You know that feeling when you're stuck, staring at a to-do list, knowing exactly what needs to be done, but you just can't get started? The good news: this isn't laziness. Recent research in neuroscience shows that what we call laziness is actually a brain protection system. But what if I told you that centuries before modern neuroscience, the samurai of Japan already knew exactly how to get around this blockade? They called it kyojutsu, an ancient philosophy based on a mental game between truth and illusion that transformed even the most difficult battles into simple, natural, and almost effortless movements. And today, you will discover how to apply this in your life, so you never have to depend on motivation again. But first, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and activate the bell so you don't miss any content. Now, back to the video. The truth about laziness. Let's be honest. You're never lazy about what gives you pleasure. Have you noticed this? Spending hours on TikTok, watching 7 episodes of a series in a row, or playing that game for 5 hours without getting up from your chair. No difficulty, no resistance, zero effort. But when it comes to studying, training, working, or starting that project that could change your life, suddenly, everything feels heavy. The body freezes. The mind makes excuses. And here comes the first paradigm shift. The problem is not you. The problem is not a lack of discipline or willpower. In fact, according to a study by a team of neuroscientists at Stanford University, procrastination is not a time management problem, but an emotional management problem. Whenever the brain associates a task with discomfort, anxiety, or even fear, it activates a protective mechanism. And the name we give to this mechanism is laziness. But do you know who discovered this? 400 years before modern science. The samurai. And that's where kyojutsu comes in. The samurai code. The concept of kyojutsu comes from the combination of 2 words. Kyo, which means false, illusion, disguise, and jutsu, which means truth, technique, reality. In practice, this means the following. Samurai did not fight the enemy head-on if it was disadvantageous. They knew that. Often, victory lay in using the enemy's own strength against him, and creating illusions, disguises, unexpected movements that made the opponent fall by himself. And here comes the shock. This principle doesn't just apply to battle, it serves for life. Because your biggest enemy is not laziness, it's how you deal with it. If you try to face your own resistance with force, you lose. But if you learn to read the signs, understand where this blockage comes from, and use it to your advantage, what once seemed like a wall becomes an open door. According to a Harvard University researcher, the human brain is not designed to seek effort, but rather to conserve energy at all costs. Whenever it perceives that a task requires more energy than necessary, it activates resistance, which is often mistaken for laziness. The forms of resistance. Kyojutsu teaches that all resistance, all blockage, comes from 3 specific origins. If you understand this, you unlock any task. First, resistance to the method. This happens when the way you try to do the task just doesn't fit with your way of thinking or working. For example, trying to write directly on the computer when, in fact, you think better on paper, or try studying while listening to music when your brain works better in silence. The second type is time resistance. Maybe you're trying to do a task at a time when your body isn't cooperating. Your energy peak is in the morning, but you try to work at night, or vice versa. The third type, and the most powerful, resistance to purpose. You know that task that you just can't get started on, no matter how hard you try. Many times, it shouldn't even be on your list. Either it doesn't make sense anymore, or it never did. And here's a hard but liberating truth. You're not lazy. You're just out of alignment. A study by the University of Melbourne found that 79% of people who abandon personal projects do so not because of a lack of discipline, but because, on some level, they realize that the project is not connected to what really matters to them. And here's the most curious part. The samurai had a technique so simple, yet so powerful, that it made it impossible to procrastinate. A technique that anyone can apply to any task, and it starts before you even think about acting. Want to know how? Get ready, because now comes the turning point. The secret of the samurai, the strategic positioning. Do you know what a samurai's first step was before any battle? Prepare the field. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman in the history of Japan, said a phrase that applies to any area of life. Victory belongs to those who prepare the ground. And here's the truth that no one tells you about discipline, productivity, or motivation. You don't fail because you are weak. You fail because your battlefield is rigged against you. Want an example? If your work environment is full of distractions, cell phone vibrating, YouTube tab open, notifications flashing, your brain needs to spend more energy resisting distractions than doing the task itself. Now, when you clean the environment, leave only the essentials visible. Put on some background music that helps you focus, even adjust your physical posture. Suddenly, what seemed heavy begins to flow. And this is not magic. It's neuroscience. It's applied kyuji. You don't have to force yourself when the environment does the work for you. Neuroarchitecture studies show that disorganized environments increase cortisol levels, the stress hormone, by up to 32%, and drastically reduce our ability to focus and make decisions. Now, grab a pen and paper, or save this video to your favorites. Because what comes next could literally change the way you act forever. The method that the samurai applied in battles, and that today you will apply in your life, has 5 simple steps. Write it down. 1. Conscious observation. Every time that resistance hits, that urge to procrastinate, to run away from the task, stop, breathe, and observe. What is your body feeling? Tightness in your chest, tension in your neck, the urge to open Instagram. Realizing what's happening already starts to dismantle half of the resistance. 2. Resistance translation. Now you ask yourself, this is resistance to thought. It is resistance to time, or resistance to purpose. Depending on the answer, you change the strategy. If it's a method, change the way you do it. If it's time, adjust the schedule. If it's purpose, maybe that task shouldn't even be in your life. 3. Strategic environmental design. Here is a declared war against distraction. Take away everything that doesn't help you. Cell phone, airplane mode, social networks, website blocker, headphones, background music, table. Only with what matters. The environment needs to be so supportive that working is easier than procrastinating. Minimum viable action. If you tell yourself, I'm going to study for 3 hours, your brain freaks out. But if you say, I'm just going to open the notebook and write a sentence, the resistance evaporates. The trick is this. Make it so small that it's impossible to say no. Getting started is 80% of the work. 5. Cultivate flow. When you get moving, keep the pace. Use cycles of 25 to 35 minutes of total focus with short breaks in between. Avoid the gaps where procrastination likes to creep in and track your progress. Seeing that you are moving forward activates an automatic cycle of motivation, according to research published in Journal of Applied Psychology. People who use short work cycles, such as the Pomodoro technique, are 42% more likely to complete complex tasks compared to those who try to work in long blocks without a break. And here's a detail that almost no one notices. The true power of kyuji. It's not about making you work harder. It's in making you work with lightness. When you master this method, you realize something shocking. Productivity is not about effort. It's about alignment. And most people spend their entire lives trying to win a game where the rules are rigged against them. But what if you change the game? What you learned here today is not just another productivity technique. It's a new way of seeing yourself. You're not broke. You were never lazy. What you call laziness was always just a sign of misalignment. And when you learn to listen to that signal, to understand what it means, something magical happens. The movement becomes natural again. The effort stops being a burden, and what once seemed like a daily battle turns into lightness, clarity, and direction. Change never starts with a big leap. It starts with a micro step, a break, a question, an adjustment to the environment. And when you repeat these small gestures day after day, you create a new rhythm of life. A rhythm where you don't act out of obligation, but out of clarity. Where you no longer have to force yourself, because your own path starts pulling you. And now I ask you, what is the first micro step you will take today? And now I ask you, thank you.